Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you three different ways you can create an object like this. There may be more, but the three basic ways. So in this case we're going to go first to the most simplest way in such a case. We're going to go to 3D Sketch. And I'm going to start drawing a sketch where I'll start with the top, the circular movement. I'll take an arc and I move it from this point to this point, and I just simply create this part arc over here. Now I'm going to go back to the line drawing, and I try to snap to this line over here, and I draw this part, and I press escape to exit, stop the line, and then I draw over here and escape to finish this one. Now I'm going to uncheck this, so I make a separate profile, and I'm going to draw a small rectangle depending on the thickness you want this to be. And you can make it circular, you can make any other shape, but in this case I'm going to make it rectangle. And I'm going to use FollowPath. So this is in a tool, FollowPath, and I'm going to follow it and finalize it. As you can see, we got this shape that we expect, and the geometry also looks quite nice. And this is basically, this particular shape. But what if you have a more, if you're trying to follow this with an existing shape, you have a geometry, any object, and you want that object to follow. So let's take an example. So suppose I have an object like this particular object, and I want this to follow this shape. I mean, in a cube you just seen, I can do this as a rectangle, but suppose this is a more complex shape, I import it, and I want to position it around this. So the natural instinct would be to use bending over here. The problem is bending only on one axis. So, I mean, it's bending three axes, but you technically have like X, Y, Z, but it's only X, Y, Z in one direction, the way that it's standing up on the Y. So if you see, for example, I'm going to start bending this is skewing because it tries to bend in the other axes, which we don't have the details only in one direction. So what I'm going to do here in order to make this work, I need first to rotate this, make this stand up. So I'm going to rotate this object over here and make it basically stand up like this. And now we're going to go to the bending, and because this is basically a perfect rectangular, circular shape, the part of the U, I think that dynamic origin will do it best. And then I start bending it in dynamic origin, kind of like this. So I have to look, you see it gets a little bit complicated to see exactly how much I want to bend them. I mean, I can technically upload this image that I uploaded, I can move it in a different plane and do it better, but for now I'm just showing the basic idea. And now I need to rotate this, let's see, I need to put it on, I think I need to rotate it in two directions. So I need to first put it in this way, I guess, and then I still need to rotate in the other direction, which is kind of, I guess, the green axis, something like this. And then I need to position it and move it, so to position it correctly over here. And it's relatively okay, but you see it requires a little bit extra steps, and I could have bended this probably a little bit more, but for now let's just finalize it. And I do extrusion, I extrude this, and so on. And if you can see, it gave me basically the shape, but yes, I can play around a little bit more and make it more perfect, but for now that's basically, the shape is more or less followed, as you can see over here, and you can play around. So that's basically one way. The other way would be trying to use let's go back to the first shape that I created, entire shape before doing anything. Okay, so we got it this way. I'm still going to move it to a position to be over here, something like this. And now what I'm going to do, let me actually deactivate the faces. Now I'm going to go to Inflate, also a deformer. I'll go and Inflate, and I'm going to inflate this up until here, and I'm going to inflate now the other side, so I can inflate this bottom up to create the same hole, and I'll inflate this part, something like this. So this obviously, you see, gives me a different slope. It's not exactly the same. You can play with the gizmo position, you can select parts of it, inflate just part of it, but you can do the same with bending, by the way. You can select just parts, but in this case you may get like, this is not a perfect example, simple U this wouldn't be the case, but in some cases you may want to select just part of an object and move it, and then start playing with the geometry to start positioning it. So kind of like just select edges and start dragging the edges where you want them to move, and so on, start manually positioning, not inflate, go to the move tool and start positioning edges around. So normally if you do something like this, you would want to put it into a wireframe and then start playing with the, like kind of selecting the edges and positioning it. So let's say if I want to position this over here, let me deselect this. I'll take, let's say, this edge over here, and I can start, I start moving it over here. You can see I can start playing, but this is kind of a tedious process. I need to deselect, now I'll select this edge, and you can see you can start basically playing around and just positioning them. But yeah, it depends what it is. This is more tedious, but that's just another option just to show what you can do. I hope this was helpful, and let me know what you think. Okay, thank you.